Quiet on the Set. If y'all know, that's the Nickelodeon documentary with all of these abusers. I don't want to say the name. Don't say the name. Abusers.
I don't even know the names.
Yeah, but I meant the words. Abusers that
violated.
Yeah, that the kids. So there you go. When you watch the documentary, you're like, what was Nickelodeon doing this whole time?
But you know what? When I'm learning, and if people can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know people tend to listen to our show and go, "You're wrong. That's not the right spelling. You said the name wrong." Blah blah blah. Okay, our disclaimer. We're gonna start putting that on our show. We're not a.
I'm not. That's already.
We're not.
There.
I mean, just hey, we're not a news. We're just.
But it's already
it's about
on
opinion.
So who cares?
I know people still say crazy stuff.
Why do you care?
But I think you're saying the laws change now, where there's so many years can run out when a person wants to come forth and say someone was violated.
Not for that.
Whatever.
It's no
certain
law.
Things,
no,
like that particular thing.
For that, there is no.
That's what I'm saying. Certain things, because some things the statutory time is
not
lapse.
That. Yeah.
Okay, and I'm thinking a lot of people are taking advantage of that as they get older, or they're older now, and there probably maybe some reasons for them to come forth and say, you know what, it wasn't so good at Nickelodeon, and we all go, oh man, and then you don't even want to hear like a Disney story or a different child, anything dealing with children related stuff or church. You're like, oh man, but. I applaud them. I applaud him, whoever it is, for coming forward.
All right, so let me look and see.
Nothing's perfect, so we know when you're dealing with people.
Quiet on the Set. And with kids, you can easily manipulate kids. They don't know nothing. So that's where, if you were that type of person, I don't want to use the P word, you would go to a children's set.
Oh, you can't even use that word either?
I don't want to try it because they'll,
okay.
YouTube will ban everything.
Okay.
So... And we don't have to. They know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So you don't, and if you that type of person, you would go to a children's set because that's where you could do all the stuff that you want to. Yeah, you in that environment. So this is somebody, her name is Jay. She did a review of Quiet on the Set. And I just want to get a reaction. I want to watch it.
This is a show that came on?
No, she's just doing a review.
This is her show called Quiet on the Set.
No. Quiet on the Set is the documentary.
Oh,
for Nickelodeon.
The name of it. Okay.
And she's doing a review of Quiet on the Set.
Oh,
okay. Quiet on the Set on HBO Max, episodes 1 through 4. What's up, y'all? It is Jay Shanice back with another video, back with another review. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let's get into Quiet on the Set, baby. I be all over the place. I'm loud. If you're new here we go. Drake Bell, baby, I felt so bad for his daddy. I mean, I feel bad for him too, but that broke my heart with his daddy, because that daddy knew that Brian the Pickle Man, or whatever they called him, was a weirdo, and he wanted him away from his son, and he was trying to protect his son. But see, what they do is manipulate these kids. He got into Drake's head, telling him that, your daddy shouldn't be your manager. Most of these people's parents are their manager, especially when they're child stars.
So the same thing with like Usher or Beyonce or whatever. They always start off with their parent as their manager, and then people talk to them and say, get rid of them. They are too involved. And Drake's father, Drake is one of the kids that was on Nickelodeon who had a show.
Okay.
And he was one of the ones that the Brian guy went after. And his father started noticing stuff. Like he would just notice that that Brian guy was touchy-feely all the time. And he was just like, okay, it's all right. You're just too touchy-feely.
Should I make some of it or not?
And then when he would say something to people on the set, they said, you just homophobic because Brian is gay. And, gay people like to, touch. And so you're homophobic. You have a problem with him touching your son. He was like,
brush it off. Okay.
Maybe I don't have a problem. I don't know. They was just making him feel like he was talking too much. And then the guy would try to always spend time with Drake and let's go to Disney World and stuff like that. And his father would always be like, that's just odd that a 40-year-old man is always trying to hang around with kids and stuff.
They say that about Michael Jackson.
Well, yeah, Michael Jackson too. So just parents is just, he was the type that would say something.
Mm-hmm.
And so they started saying, well, Brian started saying, you need to probably drop your father because he gonna mess it up for you. And the way they made kids feel back then, and parents too, if you complain or if you say something, we'll just get another kid.
Yeah,
we don't have to have your
You
kid.
don't have to keep them.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Mean and talking about his daddy was stealing his money. Baby, that pickle man got into that boy's head so that boy could become his victim. Oh my God, that was so heartbreaking, but weirdo. And for all them people to write a letter, Alan Thicke. No, you ain't writing a letter from the grave.
now when Drake from the grave, when Drake she funny. When Drake decided to come out and say that this is Brian was violating him, Brian, he went to court and he was found guilty. And it was time for him to be sentenced. A lot of celebrities and a lot of people, producers and directors and stuff, wrote letters on the guy who was violating Drake on his behalf.
Oh, it's taken up for him.
Saying maybe it was a stress or just
like,
a lot
if they were writing letters for Bill Cosby.
Yeah, like but there nobody wrote no letters for Bill Cosby, but everybody was writing letters for Brian. And I was surprised that Alan Thicke and the mom that was on the show, they both wrote letters. Now, since this has come out, Alan Thicke is, he's gone. But the mom said it wasn't presented to me that way when I wrote the letter. So I guess people saying, okay, well, let's give her the benefit. We don't know what was presented to these people to write a letter.
But they shouldn't be writing letters anyway.
That's what I say.
Accused because it's allegedly.
It's like right now with Diddy. Mm-hmm. I'm not writing a letter for Diddy. Mm-hmm. Even if somebody said, well, you don't know all the facts, or if you don't know all the facts, don't write a letter.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe because this was 2004, people was different
need to be very careful with that. Because even when you made a comment yesterday.
We're in 24 now. You can't do that.
You made a comment yesterday, too, that made me kind of go, oh, my God, you're right. But in a sense, it can be debated. When a family member is said a family member.
Oh, yeah.
You want to stick up for your family member because you truly, truly believe in them and trust them.
Right.
But there are family members who can still lie.
Oh, yeah.
Or fabricate.
Yeah.
So that's still scary when you got a family member because you still got to go, I don't believe my child or my son or my whatever would.
Right.
But let's see where this goes.
Right.
You got to
But people understand family members.
I know.
But if you're not a family member, don't write no letters for nobody.
Have written a letter talking about how it was presented to her.
So,
okay.
Oh, that was years ago. So he R.I.P. I don't know if I want to say R.I.P. because you were supporting a person that wasn't right. It was doing kids wrong. You don't want to take him to Disneyland, want to take him to his stuff, quit living with his daddy, start living with his mama. But then his mama was too lazy to do what she was supposed to be doing, which was taking her son to everywhere he needed to go because you was living off of his money. Let's keep it real. And then he ended up getting, okay, we ain't gonna say the word, but y'all know what I mean, by this creepy man that is friends with what is his name? John Wayne Casey, writing letters and being his pen pal. And
so it was a lot of stuff. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
This guy, everybody liked him on the set. Even today, some of the kids are like, well, he never did anything to us, one of those.
Right.
And they was like surprised to find out that this had came out.
That lady, whatever her name was, she was an actress, and she said back then she didn't have any issues. But I still go, towards how you feel.
So he would invite, he had a party, a birthday party or something at his house, and all the kids was there, whatever. And then one of the kids, I think, you got something going on?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, one of the kids went to in his room or something.
Oh, no.
And he had like that balloon, that picture of John Wayne Gacy as a clown holding balloons. And they was like, where you get that from? He said, oh, I'm pen pals with John Wayne Gacy. Now,
that's
then and there, everybody was like, that's kind of odd. But nobody said anything. And I thought about that. I said, you know what, back in the day, even before
after he was accused?
Yeah, he was in jail.
See, no.
And I thought about it. I said, back in the day, but this is like 2000. But I know back in our time, we didn't say nothing when things was weird or off, or we would just be like,
blew
don't
it
go over
off.
that person's house or
Exactly.
stay away from that person. But I'm thinking
We didn't put 2 and 2 together on some stuff.
But I'm thinking in 2000, I'm thinking this generation, they should know to say something.
This was around 2000.
So this is even before now we got social media now. So you can't get away with all this stuff now. So
Exactly.
But that was odd.
But to be connected with John Wayne Gacy, to me,
yeah.
You got a painting from him? Are you serious? You let your son walk into that trap and said he woke up and the man was doing things. Baby, I said, oh no. He's like, I don't know how to describe it. Just know they was terrible. I said, oh, hell no. See, the 90s and the late 80s was something kind of different. Why were y'all not doing background checks, Nickelodeon? That got me looking at Nickelodeon different, okay? Why are you not doing background checks on these people? Why was he around children? He should have, well, I guess he wasn't that until after this incident. But he thought that boy was his boyfriend. That is somebody's damn child that you're touching on. He was all around all them kids, all them young boys. Did you see Leo DiCaprio? I said, oh.
Yeah, they were showing videos of Leo DiCaprio, and he was like doing all that with him and stuff too. So you wonder now, all of these people that are older now, who were younger back then, how many of them were probably violated and they don't say nothing?
They talked about that on The View.
Was Leonardo? He just never said anything?
The women had mixed views on The View, with people coming forth who either knew something or had experienced it, versus people who don't come forth because they for whatever reason they may have seen it or have experienced it. So the women had weighed on them both sides. Joy feels whistleblower. You did, if he touched you, or if you see it, say something.
Yeah.
Sonny felt the same way. Sarah was like, you don't bully, you don't force someone to come forth if they are still going through healing or whatever. You got to understand they're going through something, and you don't put a mark on them saying you got to come forth because he messed with you too, didn't he?
Right.
So they all had different views on that. So I kind of see what she's saying. If he has some issues, he's not coming forward.
Right. I don't think you should make anybody come forward.
Right.
But I think that if anybody comes forward, that's it. You only need one person.
Yeah. I mean, for me, one person is enough, but I do understand the more.
Right.
Oh, God, it builds the case even bigger, stronger.
Yeah. And this guy, Drake, he didn't know if he came forward, he knew they would get rid of him and bring another kid. And that's how they do. That's why I was saying Hollywood, even with going with this thing with P. Diddy, if the stories are true, which they probably are, we don't know, allegedly. The music industry is the same way. Mm-hmm. They threaten you that if you don't go along, if you don't do such and such, then you won't have a career or you'll never work in this town again. You get blackballed. But 2024, everybody getting exposed. And they saying that if what they saying is true about Diddy, it's going to be athletes and celebrities and politicians.
It's like that lady that had the list of that man who did his problems in prison.
Epstein.
That lady who had high profile names.
High profile.
They came out when
So they saying that if this is true, then, but, if he pays what he needs to pay, because, he got money. So as long as he keep paying what he need to pay, maybe they'll get him out of it. That's why Trump gets out of everything. So let's see.
Not trying to touch our Romeo. He was just rubbing on his elbow. I said, oh, he creepy. I don't understand why you want to mess with children when you could go get you a grown man that's willing to do what you need him to do. For real. Like, I feel so bad for Drake and his daddy, okay? Because that was, my jaw was on the floor.
He was close to his dad when he got into the business. He was little, and there were some things we saw him in. I didn't know that was him. He was little, though. He was on Seinfeld, too, on the episode. I was like, oh, that's him. He was younger. No. Drake was on Seinfeld.
No, they've had an episode with a child.
Yeah, they've had kids.
Okay.
And he was on one episode of Seinfeld. And when I go back and look at it, I go, oh, that is him. So he didn't want to lose his career. And so that's what a lot of these guys do. Like I said, she's saying what get a adult. They don't want that. They want about power. That's what it's always been about.
Because they could
the
lose
R word and all of that.
It's
been about power.
But the sad thing about it is that even that person in power violating them, if they tell, they're in trouble. If they lash out at them, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
So
he felt he had to take it. Just years.
One for the team.
And then one day, I said his dad was on the set all the time, but then he made him get rid of his dad as his manager and like go with the mom who was more stupid and didn't really. She let him stay over there at his house, and she just didn't catch on.
Now they probably feel bad, don't they?
Well, one day he just went off. I'm just gonna fast forward. He went off and started yelling at his mom, and he told his mom what was happening to him, and she couldn't believe it, and she called the police. The police came over, and they wanted him to get that guy on tape saying what he had did, and he was able to do that. You know how he said he felt like it was a movie scene where they have you taped up. I mean, and all and he said, I just don't feel comfortable. He was talking to the guy, Brian. I don't feel comfortable, and you know, and the guy was just saying everything. So they had him on tape. That's why it wasn't hard to convict him. Wow. They had him on tape.
That's the first time, though, that he was convicted. Is this the second time?
No, this is the first time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, why did I want to fight his mama? Why even take him on if you wasn't going to do what the daddy had been doing since the boy? Like, she was like, what's going on? So she told his mom, like, I'm taking him to a therapist. But he still didn't say nothing to the therapist. But then one day, I think after this fool was trying to say he wanted to be on the Drake and Josh show and play his dad, that's when he told his mama about everything. So they went to the police, which his mama did do right by that. But she should have been 10 toes down. If you think you can replace the daddy because you and the daddy ain't together, then you should have been doing what the daddy was doing and not depending on some man you don't know. Okay? So they recorded him. I guess he was confessing to it and was like, are we being recorded? Or if you got to ask if you being recorded, then you probably being recorded, stupid. Okay? Work with kids.
Now.
Cody and Disney ran a background check and was like, oh.
He was convicted, right? This Brian guy was convicted. And I think he got like 17 months or something like that. And that was it. He gets out and he gets another job on another Nickelodeon show. With kids.
Nickelodeon hired him again. Okay.
They were like,
don't come after him no more. Come after him and Nickelodeon.
So
you've let a felon or someone who's been convicted of something come back
with children.
Come back,
right? With children and work with children. Now, if it was
really got some.
If it was just this case, then people would go, "That's dumb enough." No, they had a couple of them. They had a couple of people who were convicted. Skin is peeling. They had a couple of them who kids were convicted. I mean, people were convicted, and they working at Nickelodeon. And one guy, they said he actually brought the kid who he was doing that to on the set a couple of times. This Nickelodeon. Wow. We didn't know all this was going on at Nickelodeon back then.
Was this early 2000?
Yeah, this was early 2000. And we didn't know they was doing a lot of sexual innuendos in the shows with the kids. Somebody sucking on somebody's toes. One black guy said he was on there on all that. They put peanut butter on him and had the dogs come in and lick it all off. And he felt, this is uncomfortable. They would do stuff like that. This Brian guy, the one that was convicted, they called him the pickle guy. He would walk around, he had all these pickles. And it was like the terminology and the stuff that they was using. As adults, we know what
So maybe they were like him. They tolerated that environment because they were together.
And that's the thing. See, I always put everything back to Trump. Everybody knows that. Mm-hmm. This is why Trump is winning in November. Mm-hmm. Because people feel like Hollywood,
you represent me,
and music, has been over-sexualized. Yeah. And so we got this, now these people are saying they want everything whitewashed and we want to take out any of that. We don't want any of that. You guys are putting all these little sexual innuendo things in, and we want to get rid of all of that because you guys have been over sexualizing kids. You know, they don't like transgenders or any of that. So that's my thing is, it's like, because it's been going on so long like this in Nickelodeon, now you got the other half, which is trying to come in and do extreme.
Like no transgender.
Like we don't want any sex or any
drag queens doing
no
reading
drag
in
queens,
front of kids.
Exactly.
Okay.
No gay teachers, no nothing, because it's like we went through this period with Nickelodeon. Now we going into a whole nother purist period.
Really, really careful.
Exactly.
They don't want situations like this Nickelodeon to happen again, though.
Right.
So
but you don't have to go the extreme. That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
All right.
Oh no, sir. You got to get out of here. Like, why would you think it was okay for you to work with kids? Again, because you was telling lies, making it sound like he tempted you or whatever he was telling people, because that's what the person said, that she was sorry she ever wrote that letter. She was told lies and all that. So, and I'm just like, OMG. And this is before Drake and Josh got, I think, did they start filming or they hadn't started filming? And Dan eating, there was big suit people in there. And they were like, who did he do? Like, who did this happen to? They didn't even know. I don't even think they found out till just now, like everybody else, that it was Drake Bell. But Dan Snyder did ask him if he was okay. Is there anything he needed? I'm like, yeah, you had to give him a show. It was because of you that this creepy man with the pickles even worked here. He putting a pickle in the glory hole, which is inappropriate because kids don't know what glory holes are. And then you got Everybody Loves Raymond eating the damn pickle that he put through the glory hole.
So Everybody Loves Raymond appeared on Raymond, the guy who plays Raymond, appeared on All That or one of those shows. And the pickle guy, like I said, we all adults know what that pickle represents. And it's almost like a hidden joke inside of these little kids' shows. So he takes the pickle and sticks it through a hole, and then Raymond grabs the pickle and bites on it. And like, yeah. So people was like, wow, this is Nickelodeon.
It's almost like a very, very soft porn.
Yeah, but they was doing stuff, and Dan Snyder, that's why I said Dan Snyder, who used to be on, he was on that first show with Robin Givens, Head of the Class. Remember, he was the fat guy in Head of the Class.
Oh.
Remember Head of the Class?
I remember Head of the Class.
I know.
I just don't remember the character.
Robin Givens? Okay, they was high school students. He was the fat guy on there. Then they allowed him to go on and do all these shows on Nickelodeon.
Wow.
So he had like a perverted mind. So he would always slide in stuff.
It's like, why? And I guess it would make sense if they are like that with young kids to be in an atmosphere with young kids.
And then he didn't really like women on the set or writers. They hired these two women, Dan Snyder, the fat guy on Head of the Class. They said he was a tyrant. He was horrible. He would yell at people and scare people. When he walk in the room, people would be like, oh no.
What is he?
But he had so many shows on Nickelodeon and they let him just kind of run the place. So he was forced to hire women writers. So he decided to hire these two women writers and pay them the salary of one writer, and they had to split it. So the one writer, she was a heavy set one, and the other one was a skinny one. The heavy set one, she caused problems a little bit too much. She talked too much. So Dan would always yell at her and stuff, and be like, you want to work here? So she knew to be quiet or, she end up losing her job. Well, one day I think she saw and read or something that it was illegal what he did as far as hiring both of them and giving them one salary. So she went to the Writers Guild or something like that and complained. And they went after Nickelodeon and Dan and forced them to give them salary. Okay. And he called her on the phone and said, are you the one that complained? And she was just like, no, you scared of the man. But he was like, he knew it was her. So he had his eye on her. And he would, if he wanted you to quit, he would force you to quit. Like
make it so
hard. And yeah.
Okay.
And he had an assistant director that was on there. Now all the kids loved the assistant director, this guy, who was nice. and he would always kind of be a bridge between Dan and the kids.
Okay.
So when Dan would start coming down real hard or something, he would kind of step in and take the hits so that Dan wouldn't be right on the kids.
Okay.
Well, one day Dan wanted to get rid of him. And so the kids were like, we noticed when he left, it got worse. So he was shielding them probably from all of this. And then they was, even like the black kids, they was like, I don't think he liked black people. Because the way and the moms that was on the set, the black moms was like, I don't think he liked black people either. Because he would always make, if there was a skit where somebody had to rob somebody or something, it'd be the black kids.
This is in the documentary.
This is all in the documentary.
Wow.
And we all,
who told this
I
documentary?
didn't watch Nickelodeon. I'm too old. But the generation behind me grew up on Nickelodeon.
Wow, I didn't know that was all going on back.
All that with Amanda Bynes and Britney Spears, all of them, and Justin Timberlake, all of them on these shows.
What's her name? Have one from The View, the Raven.
Yeah, Raven. All of them Nickelodeon. Nick.
She had a show.
Nick Cannon. He was on all that. Keenan.
Is that man still there?
No. This is Keenan. This is 20 years ago. 20.
No, I mean she still has one now, but this back then she had one too. Was he there when she was there?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
Yeah. So the thing is that people probably waiting to see what Nick Cannon and Keenan and all of them had to say, because they were all there during all this time with these predators and Dan and all of them.
Coming out. Nobody's saying nothing.
Nobody's saying nothing. So now that it's coming out, people are starting to say something and start to talk.
This is the year of revealing everything. I know.
Emerald says, salutations, everyone. Salutations
to you.
Wendy says, hey, girls. Hey, Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
True says, hello. Looking back on these shows, I grew up with adult eyes. Really makes you wonder how this was even allowed. Yeah. Now that we look back on it, like the pickle jokes and things like that, they even say if you go back to Disney stuff, there's some stuff that's in old Disney cartoons that are adult content. And the cartoonists would put it in there and laugh. That the kids don't know it.
Anybody notices.
To see if the adults notice, and the ones who do notice don't say anything. It was one day we'll do a thing on that. Go back and look at it, and some of them were really ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah,
you noticed some stuff.
Well, you got to watch the documentaries,
Wow.
And they'll show you, like in Cinderella, this, or in Sleeping Beauty, this, and we go, "Oh my God, we didn't even see that because we kids."
The sad thing about it, though, I expect that in an adult atmosphere,
but not kids,
but not in children's atmosphere. Anything with children related, children environment. Even bad kids.
But you notice,
you don't expect that sexual innuendos.
But do you notice Hollywood and the music industry still over-sexualizes kids?
Yeah.
They still do the same thing today. Why do we allow that?
I don't know. It's our fault.
Why do we allow kids twerking or little girls, like even those Bonet, the one that was
those shows.
Why do we allow? That's what I'm saying.
They can't stop that.
Yeah,
they were like models even at 4,
but they were over sexualizing them. Joan Bonet, Ramsey,
Ramsey,
and then just even now, even the Balenciaga ad that had kids in these bondage. That people started speaking out.
I guess too when it's money.
But why does Hollywood keep thinking it can do that and nobody's going to say anything?
Because they can do it and nobody's going to say anything. They don't push the envelope. That's
why Diddy's house is being raided.
And that's why
nobody's putting up with it anymore.
You sound like Whoopi on The View. Why is it that all the things that Comb Over is doing,
he gets away with?
Everybody would be in jail.
Everybody.
Under the jail. Behind the jail. Ran over by cops, shot down. He gets away. We're living in a society where I don't even understand.
We don't understand it. You get upset. It's like the mega people. You get upset about children and being over-sexualized and stuff, but you support somebody who over-sexualizes women.
Yeah. And
it's not and you know what? Again, it's not us to understand what's going to happen, and I've said it 150 times, is that judgment is coming down, and if that blood stain isn't over that door, and you're not covered with the blood of Jesus, your head is going to roll.
That show's coming.
And I don't care who you are.
That's the classic coming next week is the 10 Commandments.
And your head is going to roll because God is done with. He's sick of it.
Yes.
He's coming back, and he says, I'm coming back with a church without a spot or a wrinkle. And you Christians are the worst.
Yeah.
You're the most wrinkled out of everybody.
Spots.
I expect the world to be like that, but you say I'm your Lord and Savior. Why do I have big time evangelists getting ready to be brought down with multi-million-dollar ministries?
So what you just said, I guess too, people tend to kind of like block world because world is going to do what world does.
You expect that.
But when it starts to peel over into
people who say they know
Christian
God
world,
yes,
you're like, whoa,
yes,
this is happening in church,
and you're allowing it. You're allowing it.
Yeah.
I can't even tell the difference between the world and the church anymore.
It's so blended.
It's so blended.
Yeah,
I can't even tell the difference.
We're supposed to make a difference. A light.
You twerking in church.
Yeah.
So now you don't think God, all right, that's all right. All I do is put my hands up. Cover our house, cover us with the blood of Jesus.
You are covered in your personal relationship.
Because when that judgment comes, it's coming.
It's coming.
So that's all.
Okay.
But this documentary will piss you off.
You watched the whole thing?
Yeah, I got to the fourth one. I'm not done with it yet. But it pisses you off.
Because we didn't realize this was all going on.
We didn't realize it was going on. And when people did know what was going on, they didn't do anything about it.
Yeah,
they allowed the kids to keep being violated. And then you hire people again.
You turn your head away. Because it's money. Do you know some parents probably allow their kids, they'll push the envelope for their kids because they're getting a big check for it.
That's why nobody's listening to those parents or those girls from R. Kelly. You knew exactly what was going on.
Babe, how much is he paying you?
You're going to take your child to an R. Kelly concert. If you've seen an R. Kelly concert, he's sexualized in it. Yeah. Why would you take your 13-year-old girl backstage to meet him? Because you want her to be signed by him. Yeah. You don't care. You drop her off at the studio. I drop somebody off at the studio. I'm just as bad as all these other nut jobs back then. Why did we do that?
I don't think we were thinking about that.
We did know that. I knew that. I lived in
But at that time, you didn't have you couldn't do nothing about that.
I lived in Hyde Park.
Huh?
Yeah, don't say no names.
Don't say names, Mom.
I lived in Hyde Park. And I knew R. Kelly would come up to Kenwood High School and be in the parking lot.
I didn't know that.
I did.
Oh, okay.
Talking to your girls that was in high school.
Well, don't you feel that?
So why would I drop a high school girl off at his studio?
Because I'm just taking up for you for that moment. You knew that there was Musically. So you really thought, unless you could just say you were naive, you thought it was just going to be music only.
No.
He was not going to touch her sexually. That was for music. She was going to lay down the track like we know that.
We know deep down that that's not what's going to happen.
Kim, there's been a lot of stuff that went past us that we didn't know.
We were naive and stupid.
Here's the thing, though. How do we know God kept something from us because we would have maybe made it worse by opening, because a lot of things happen in our old ministry.
All right.
We didn't even know.
Yeah.
Kim and I were like, we're waiting on something.
Well, my thing is with this one.
And we didn't know what was going on in the offices.
My thing is with this one, once you find out that somebody is messing with kids, why would you hire them again?
Now you're obligated to
it's about
do
money.
The right thing. Yeah.
Money.
But they couldn't they not replace him?
They can replace anybody.
It wasn't like he was some. Oh my God, you know.
Or Dan Snyder working kids all throughout the night and not having these child labor laws. And who are these parents that's allowing them?
Unless he had a relationship with him.
Well, he's saying we don't know. That's nothing. Allegedly. Yeah. My thing is these parents. You don't have to do that today. But today people still feel like they have to do anything somebody tells them so that they can become famous. Everything. And when it's not the casting couch and it's not Hollywood, now it's social media. Mm-hmm. Now social media, everybody's doing everything for viral or on the gram. If you see somebody being violated or hurt, you don't even help them anymore. You want to get it on camera.
Right.
Because you get paid. You get paid when your videos go viral.
You know what? I know few of the cases that I would see with the Law and Order was a few situations where the lady was wanted more money in her job, and the pressure from the leader, from the owner, from the person in charge, they still went ahead and did what they needed to do.
Yeah.
Because that was the only way they can get ahead.
Yeah.
But they actually won their case because that person who was in power abused his power.
Yeah.
So people can be mad at, well, you shouldn't have went in there with him. You knew if he was asking you in his office or his hotel room.
People blame the victim.
They blame the victim. And
do you as a victim have some
choice?
Do you as a victim of anything? There are times where, yes, you can mitigate or whatever the damages.
Yeah,
right. I don't have to leave my door open in my car like I did. Well, I left my wallet on the windshield. Mm-hmm. That was dumb.
Right.
But that didn't give the person the right to break my window and take my wallet.
And break into
a lot of people probably walked by and went, "That's stupid," and kept going.
Why did you go?
Why are you a criminal to be the one to break the window and take the wallet? Right. So yes, I play a role in it, but that does not eliminate the person who committed the crime.
And that's how she won her case. Because if you're in power like the Nickelodeon people over children,
but the
parents is like, that's the sake for sake of argument. No parents can come on the set at all. Still,
they was making parents
the person on the set
the one black lady whose son, they was like, we want them to stay. Y'all got to go, whatever. All the parents, she was like, wait a minute, hold up. And they was telling her, you gonna get your son fired because you talking too much. And so she said, she was thinking about, she said, all right. Because she said, she started crying. She said it was drawing a wedge between me and my son. My son was starting to not like me. Like, Mom, and he even said, he's an adult now. He said, it did. I started not liking my mom. You talking too much. You gonna get me fired, and I like this job.
But here's another concern here. And I can say this because as a child, I didn't say nothing. And that was my problem. I was very quiet, stayed to myself.
Right, I was one that said everything.
And I was, but my sister was very vocal. When you know as your relationship with your child, though, if they're uncomfortable, if they're acting a certain way,
well, they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything.
Well, then that's probably good.
But she wanted to stay so they wouldn't.
Kids that were touched.
Yes.
I mean, when you have a relationship with your child to kind of go, babe, what's going on? What did y'all do?
And I still, if y'all watched it, even though Amanda Bynes has never come out and said it, I still think something happened with her, but we don't know. Okay. Because she was strung out on drugs and everything. Really? If y'all know about Amanda Bynes, just like Brittany. Yeah. Brittany shaved her head and went crazy. I think a lot of stuff happened to these kids and they won't say anything. Yeah. Usher spent a year at Diddy's house. His mom let him go live there when he was a teenager. You don't think nothing happened. Diddy made a mistake one time. He was talking, if you see the video, Kevin Hart was, Kevin Hart, the comedian, was interviewing him and Usher. And Diddy had his arms around Usher. He said, this my boy, I practically raised him. I remember we would wake up and get some cereal. We'd be in different rooms. We wake up and Kevin Hart went.
He caught it. We will wake up and both of us get some cereal. Hey, man.
He said, what's going on here? Kevin Hart being funny.
Yeah.
Did you just say? And Usher was just like, and then why did Usher fly out recently to Russell Simmons' place where he's staying? We know all the allegations with Russell Simmons. Mm-hmm. He's still friends with Russell Simmons to fly out there and visit him, and his wife ain't with him, it's just him. There's too much stuff going on.
Oh, Lord.
And I think a lot of stuff happened to these people when they was young. That's what I think.
Doors was open.
I do.
Ooh, situations happen.
I think a lot of them, even Leonardo DiCaprio and them, and they'll never tell anybody because they know that it will ruin their careers. There's some powerful people that's in Hollywood and own these distribution centers, and they know that even at their age now, they can't say anything because if they do, they will bring down a whole ring of people. They even said, we don't know if this is true. This is the most recent with Diddy. Prince Henry, has something, name is enlisted on something.
Oh, no.
So now you're talking about people in the royal family? How high does this thing go up? My goodness. Politicians, everybody. So it's like, it's too much.
I know.
All I'm saying
Are we
is,
surprised?
all I'm saying is, regardless of what has happened in the past, okay, I'm willing to draw a line in the sand. I'm willing to draw a line in the sand because again, you want the blue pill or the red pill? I'll take the one where I don't know everything. I'll take that pill. Even with our government. I'll take that. I don't want to know everything. Let's draw a line in the sand.
Being informed and know
I don't want to know everything our government has done. I don't want to know none of that. Mm-hmm. Let's draw a line in the sand. Okay? Hollywood, music industry, our government, all these entities. Let's stop. Let's go forward. I don't want to know any of these dark secrets from the past. Okay. Because a lot of people that we like, we probably be shocked.
Yeah, at things that have been done.
Let Denzel Washington stay Denzel Washington in my head.
Well, you know what?
I don't want to know anything else.
It's not even about us not wanting to know, because I do get it. But if it comes out.
If it comes out, it comes out.
Everything's done in the dark will come to light. So
that's
light
true.
May come to it whether we like it or not.
We may not want the blue pill or the red pill, but God said, I'm going to give it to you and you're going to take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Emerald says, that industry has been wicked since day one. They would put the stars in compromising situations and then blackmail them. Exactly. Yeah. Forcing them into contracts and unhealthy situations.
Manipulation.
I still don't understand why Usher's mom wasn't there with him. See, I didn't even read that. And we was talking about Usher. Thank you, Emerald. Why would you go let your son go live with Diddy?
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. But anyway, we don't need to go through this.
And we do have a Susie Sausage moment. Like you said, when you dropped off so-and-so. You had a Susie Sausage moment. And hopefully we've learned from that. Okay. So
oh my God. Here we go. Kimberly calculated from the beginning. How do I
more money did he start acting a fool? You know what I'm saying? One thing we know he didn't do is get on the goddamn treadmill. That's one thing we know he did not do. Okay. Let me think. I wonder if that's why Kale has so many issues. Like, Kale ended up getting on, I think, drugs and all that stuff. Like, was it because he was a child star that he did work with Dan? But was Dan nice in the beginning? But once he got more power, more fame, more money, did he start acting a fool? You know what I'm saying? One thing we know he didn't do is get on the dot. She got. She didn't say how much she got, but people didn't want to piss him off because they didn't know if they was going to work again. All that, he would threaten them with that. That's why Drake said he didn't want to tell on the Pickle Man because he thought he would never. Okay. But they said they was getting treated different.
This was one.
The one boy said they kept.
This is the one black guy. He said they would always put him in things that make him look like a penis and stuff like that. The black boy. He said he always felt uncomfortable, but he couldn't say nothing. He didn't say nothing. Okay. So basically the documentary, it is what it is. It's a documentary about Nickelodeon, which a lot of people watch Nickelodeon. I didn't watch. This was before our time. I mean, after our time. When I got old enough, I was too old to watch Nickelodeon. Mm-hmm. I wasn't watching.
I didn't watch it at all.
Well, you way older than me, so
yeah. My stuff was Zoom, and Romper Room.
Yeah, and what if we found out Bozo the Clown and all that stuff?
You know what? I was so happy to find out that Mr. Rogers
was a Methodist minister.
Thank you, Lord.
We've never heard anything bad about Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Lord, for Mr. Rogers.
But you would think he would be, because
I would be creepy. So hurt. Mr. Robinson, when Eddie Murphy would play him. Hey, kids.
Thank you.
Boys and girls.
We never heard anything bad about Mr. Rogers.
Thank you, Lord. That's how we wanted Nickelodeon to be. Spotless. But
it's not.
Okay.
None of it.
All right.
And we wonder why we got the generation we got now. These kids that was growing up on Nickelodeon was over-sexualized. And then they have kids now. And that's who the teenagers we see now. Mm-hmm. These are the teenagers, the teenage kids now. Parents watched Nickelodeon.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
That's our cousin's age. That's Nickelodeon.
And it's still operating today, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
But, okay. So that's Nickelodeon. Let's move on to your documentary that you watched.
You gonna read
Your